Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's No FOMO Charts, Stocks and Crypto TA stream. Today is Sunday, December 18th, 2022. It's just about 7:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let's go ahead and just get started here. Just want to say first, thank you so much, everybody, for watching, following, and supporting this year. It's been a great year for streaming and content creation. So let's go ahead and get started. This week in the USA, it's holiday season, so we have Christmas holiday this weekend and then New Year's holiday next weekend as well. So I'm only going to do this stream and one more stream. So two more streams total for the rest of this year, 2022. Let's go and get started. So in the stocks this week, in terms of earnings, we have Nike, General Mills, FedEx, Fuel Cell, Micron, Rite Aid, Carnival Cruises, CarMax, Paychex, and more. And on the economic data side, we have consumer confidence data, GDP quarterly, unemployment claims, and this is the big one, PCE price index. That's the inflation data number that the USA Federal Reserve FOMC is looking at to make sure we're going to hit that 2% target. Last we checked, it was 6% plus. So, that's the big news from last week. The USA Federal Reserve and also European central banks raised interest rates plus by 50 basis points. This week, also EU ministers are going to discuss a potential price cap on natural gas that might affect prices and UNG ETF, natural gas ETF. Last week, if you've been watching the news for crypto, SBF, the former FTX crypto exchange CEO, was arrested in the Bahamas last week. He is in process of being extradited to the USA for a criminal trial that is pending. Also, bankrupt Celsius Network Crypto Exchange this Thursday will be liquidating its final assets in a bankruptcy court. That's crypto related. Health related, which affects the economy, COVID, flu, and RSV virus positive cases are increasing in the United States. It is holiday season in the USA as well for 2 weeks. And in terms of stock market, the USA stock market is closed on Monday, December 26th, because that's the actual observance of the Christmas Day holiday for businesses. So with all that being said, quite still a exciting week. And let me go and lower my headphones there. So let's go ahead and start with the S&P 500. Excuse that background noise. So S&P 500, what happened here? Well, we hit this resistance spot right where I marked, right above 412, right below that, just below that. So we gap filled all the way down. These are three black crows in terms of our candlestick patterns, bearish. We lost the support of 392. So what is this? Why did this happen? Somebody might be asking, why did this happen here? That's the FOMC raising the interest rate basis points by plus 50. But also, FOMC chairman was saying that he's going to keep the interest rates high throughout 2023 and possibly into 2024. So that's why he said that before, but he just flat out said it this time. So that's why we have this bearish reaction on recession fears now for the next 1 or 2 years. So let's keep the big picture in mind. On the weekly, okay, we did get our two bearish engulfing candles. We had a rally attempt here into the 408 level, rally attempt, but piercing down, losing a little bit of momentum on that weekly. In terms of the EMAs, we lost all daily EMAs. Let me turn this off. So you can see, we lost all these daily EMAs here. So we gapped down below that, lost the trend line on the downside. Now we're in the gap fill zone, 383. It's not even daily oversold. So what we need to watch out for is we might have a bounce, right, on this 4 hour or 1 hour, we might have a bounce to the upside. Definitely in the hourly, possibly on the 15-minute. Not so much on 15-minute. There's a little bit of this baby upside down hitting shoulders, but the 1 hour looking like possibly could have a bounce. If that is true, 1% to the upside would be about 386 range, and 377 range would be the downside. One moment, please. My microphone. Okay, so if we have this rally, it could rally about 1%. So just watch out for that. There's quite a bit of bullish momentum that's building here on the 1 hour. Okay, let's switch over to DIA. Next, DIA. Okay, so first off, like I was saying, possibly this head and shoulders reversal pattern to the downside where we hit our EMA targets that I marked last time. So what we need to watch out for is there's a little bit of this hammer candle. It's not daily oversold down here. Right at this candle 328, there's a little bit of defense. That's because of the short-term oversold conditions right here in this 4 hour defending this 200 EMA right above 327. What this could potentially turn into, if we look at the price pattern in the green and red, is we have our low, high, our low, and we might have our lower high bounce sometime this week, possibly up to the 333 range. Possibly 333 range. The 4 hour is oversold. The 1 hour, again, a little bit of this momentum that's building. A little bit of that momentum building. Right, so that 1% target back up to the gap fill is possible with this bullish engulfing. 1% to the downside would take us to 322. So the 1 hour, watch out for this death cross, although we might have the bounce. But if we lose that, because we already lost 5-minute, 15-minute, if we lose the hour and the 4 hour, once we lose the 4 hour, then we know this is kind of a real downtrend and not this little small pullback. In the weekly, testing one of our shorter term EMAs here in the blue color. So at some point here, if we Fibonacci this, where's that halfway point? 314 or 305. So there's still quite a ways down to go before touching these two supports. Next, QQQ. QQQ, very similar. It was stuck between this channel of about 4%. We had the attempted rally on that one Tuesday right before the FOMC meeting and then pulled back very strongly, 7%. Check our weekly first. We lost that weekly 200 EMA, so it's kind of a little bit more serious for QQQ stock, right? The NASDAQ ETF, you can see here, low, high, low, high, low, high. If this is our reversal pivot, our negative pivot, we should actually fall back down to retest this 252 or 233 range, this bottom, these two X's. So those X's are still the target on the downside. Just something to think about. Okay, so we just need to watch out for that. The plus or minus 5 to 6%. We just lost that neckline. There's a couple ETFs that have that head and shoulders pattern. I'll try to show some of that before we sign off today. In terms of the 4 hour, it is near that support level 263 right here, 278. Okay, so if it's going to have a bullish reaction later, if there's some kind of post-Christmas rally that sometimes happens, we might see one attempt here, and if it pulls back, and then if bulls try to save it, that could happen. That's bullish scenario number one. If it's low, high, low, and it rejects, then there's that bearish scenario number two. So please keep that in mind if anybody's still trying to attempt to trade these last 2 weeks. Just a side note, the overall sentiment, at least for where I am right now, is people are just resting. You know what I mean? People are taking holiday, or some people are sick. So trading volume might not be as high as it was 1, 2, 3 years ago during this holiday season. All right, let's move on to USO. Oil and natural gas. There is that the EU ministers meeting about the natural gas. So oil might have some kind of reaction to that. Might just want to keep a side eye on this in terms of, can we establish a higher low and then bounce up to 69 or 70? It's not quite oversold yet. A little bit of momentum forming on that daily. The weekly is building. It's going to take more time. However, the 4-hour in the downtrend. So it's just trying to hold this price level. Where's here? 64. We're trying to hold above 64 or about 63.22. If we could hold that price, that would be nice. You get a little bit, maybe a little bit of a pullback, try to get a higher low bounce going on up to 70. If it's bearish, you can see the support liquidity is all the way down here to 62, the previous support. UNG. Let's look at UNG here. So there's that natural gas reaction that we might get in the next couple days. We already had the bullish reaction because it was quite oversold. So you have to realize that natural gas oversold first, right off of our 786 pivot point, which I highlighted to the dot. And then it bounced up to there to our second target. So I'm not the only trader. I'm not the only trader looking at this, right? Now, since we're in this zone of the daily, okay, a little bit of double top for now above that 2133, that secret double top resistance right there at the 50 EMA 2134. If we can hold that, we could actually rally another 7% up to 2235. However, if the price cap affects the supply demand kind of expectations, could also gap fill back to the downside 1860. We're looking at these two levels right now on UNG. So just want to watch out for that. Not quite oversold. Just riding this 1-hour EMA right now, almost tightening. Could draw this triangle for next time. Right, so just riding that, just barely. It's not quite an oversold reaction, so just beware a little bit on UNG. Okay, last two for stocks. We'll do gold and silver, and then look at a couple ETFs just to see the visual of the price action before we move on to crypto. So GLD had a nice triple bottom rally off of that low, about 10%. But since the market is pulling back right now, it would not surprise me if gold actually had a bearish reaction on the weekly side for the next couple months, just to hold us above that 159.72 area, and then we might be able to blast off later. Something to think about, because this green MACD histogram mountain looks like it might just want to fold over in the next couple months. That's just one potential bearish scenario before we set up. However, the more recent shorter term price action is showing that we have this 4-hour in the uptrend. So this is all of our 163. This 161 is our support level on this downside. It's not quite oversold. It's just riding that trend up. So any dips here, hopefully some of the bulls can try to save it, but we're tightening and we need a real strong bullish reaction to the upside, or else it's going to fold over. How much can it fold over? Maybe 159 to 157 in this circle. I'll leave that for next time. Okay, SLV, last big one. So here's a particular reason why, if I just randomly entered that trade last time, that we didn't quite hit the 8% target, but somebody could have locked in that 4%, the 2-to-1, if they did a very, very small mini educational trade. It's still uptrending on our daily. We just had our golden cross here on the EMAs, just like our Dow Jones. So if it pulls back, we could definitely retest that 1977 or 19 range. So we must observe that it's not oversold anymore. So anyone coming in now is hoping that it's going to rally 6 months, 3 months into the future, and this uptrend can stay alive. So it needs to hold and test these 50 EMA, 100 EMAs to bounce and get this pattern up here. If not, then we're heading straight down to our 1884. All right, before we move on to crypto, I just want to check on our sector ETFs for that visual of what's going on if we take a little further peek into the market. So with XLF, we had this rolling over action here on the price. Okay, almost a head and shoulders. Just want to point this out because some of the finance stocks I was looking at before I came onto the stream is looking a little bit like it might want to fold over, just like August, right? We need to watch out for that, because what happened with FOMC is, just in case it's going to fold over, we all need to be aware of that. XLE, this is why US oil is tracking, because we also have that potential double bottom, higher low above 83. If we could hold 83, that'd be nice to get a little bounce back up to maybe at 88 or 89 if things go bullish. XLU holding above that 200 EMA. It wasn't a beautiful uptrend, just copying the Dow Jones. Copying the Dow Jones here in this little uptrend, and then we're just holding above that 69.91 to 70. So we need to hold that. The bearish, however, there's quite a long ways to go down. If we have a super bearish reaction, could take us down to 67, 65 down here. If we lose this trend line, basically right here, which we just did. So it needs to definitely hold, or else XOU could be in trouble here, especially with the energy prices. XLI, very similar. The support all the way down to 94. In the long term, XLV support down to 129 or 131 area. I'm not going to do all of these, but you kind of get what I'm saying. XOY, consumer discretionary, has been just not doing well. So that's a measure related to inflation and such. So this could be some future oversold play once the economy and the stocks kind of resets. But it's right there at the support line. If it can hold, it would be beautiful if we could get that triple bottom and then maybe get the post-Christmas, like 3 months from now, Q1 2023, or the Q4 2022 results, try to get this. If not, you could see here, there's a large channel. It's about plus or minus 10% almost. That's a very large range. So those are the two areas that I'm looking at, XOY. Materials looking very similar to other XLRE. The real estate we want to watch out for is this, if this happens, okay? Meaning just everyone's thinking and looking, is it going to crash? If we have a little bounce and then it doesn't go up, then we can have some super sell-off. So just want to watch out for that for XLRE and the real estate side. XOK pulling back. XLC also pulling back. The downside target is way down here at 42. SMH, the semiconductor ETF, just trying to hold above that dual support here above 211. Just some food for thought if anybody's trying to get a little bit deeper insight into the stock market. Okay, let's move over to crypto. The crypto market, if you are unknown, after the fallout and bankruptcy of FTX Crypto Exchange and the arrest of former CEO SBF of FTX Exchange last week, is crypto people have been withdrawing their funds out of the exchange back into either USDC coin or stable coins or cash, and just leaving crypto because people don't want to invest in potential scams, which is totally appropriate and understandable. Up to $6 billion withdrawn out of Binance, a crypto exchange. I think in the past week I saw that news. So obviously there's a negative sentiment happening in the crypto market. So we have to understand that first, is if all these crypto exchanges, these 1, 2, 3 crypto exchanges that went bankrupt this year for whatever the reason, people don't like that. It's a negative feeling. Also in the USA, the weather's cold. It doesn't feel good right now, just physically or mentally. Okay, so people just have to understand that in the crypto market it's a bear market winter. Okay, so are we going to get the Santa Claus rally, quote unquote, which happens in crypto? Maybe we might, because it's at a support level. There's definitely an argument for that. Some of the fears might be overblown if you're a bull. So that target is still here, 817 or 867 billion to the upside, even 900 billion if it holds and rallies the price. Now, the bearish case on the bottom side is, well, this is technically a descending triangle pattern. So the measured move to the downside, or actually in either direction, could be about 30%. So 30%, 25% is this bottom target here, 562. Okay, because on the daily, we are still in the downtrend. We haven't quite hit our large lower high to the upside like that. But if it's negative, if there are arrests made and there's, it's a criminal trial for SBF and possibly FTX Exchange, that's enough bearish catalysts to just crash things, right? Withdrawal, meaning no buyers, the price is not going to go up. No buyers means the price is going to go down. Demand versus supply. So please keep that in mind. Let's take a quick, fast look at Bitcoin futures. So now Binance futures are connected on TradingView. I saw that news recently. So we'll just take a quick look at Bitcoin futures. These are CME futures right here. But we might get a repeat of this former kind of wedge right here. This one right in the blue versus another blue. Okay. So this is something I want to watch out for if this thing bounces, which it looks like it's in the middle of it right now. So what was that move back then? About 7%. It could bounce 10%. There's nothing stopping it, really. It's just a matter of which whale is going to buy big right now, right? On the weekly, it's still building. It is close enough into that oversold range. So if we have one more dump, that's actually normal in terms of the price. It needs to get extremely oversold, and then the value buyers, then the value investors would say, that's discounted, heavily discounted. I want to buy some if they just believe in crypto for the future. So the 4-hour is still in the downtrend. We're just riding that trend line right now. Mini Fibonacci supports right below that 50% and stuck between the 618. So what numbers are those? It's 16,000, 60.7K, stuck between 16.3K. So this is not a perfect RSI setup right here. You kind of want it to crash a little bit more, maybe get a little bounce going on, hit this higher low, and then maybe enter at one of these two spots. So this is kind of the beginning of, is it going to bounce kind of question? We get a bounce, pull back at Christmas, and then a Santa Claus rally on next week. That's the bull case. If not, it could pull back, attempted weak rally and no buyers left right now, and then it could crash back down to 15,000. So something to watch out for Bitcoin right there. Okay, just take a quick look at the actual Bitcoin crypto itself. For any of the day traders out there still trying to make some moves right now, not quite oversold on the 15-minute, not quite oversold on the 5-minute either. The trading volume is probably down right now worldwide. Because why? It's holidays, and also some people are sick. So there was that 1-hour opportunity on Friday, and then we had that reactionary bounce. But sometimes that fails to the downside, right? That 1% to the downside brings back down to 16.5. All right, let's look at a couple other cryptos. We'll go to Ethereum. And then if you have any requests, please go ahead and type it now. I'm probably only going to go about 10 more minutes if there are requests. So Ethereum USD on the daily. Let me refresh here. Hello. Hello. Welcome. Hi. Sometimes the chat does not refresh, so it just doesn't even change on my screen. So I have to manually refresh it to see what people are saying. Okay, great. So Ethereum stuck in this kind of this symmetrical triangle going sideways by 35%, probably about 30%. It's the same kind of logic setup here. 30% to downside would actually the 45% target would be the 0.88 down here, way down here. So just want to watch out for that way down here. The support level that we need to hold if someone's a bull is $1,000 Ethereum. And if it bounces to the upside on the bull side, we could see the targets are still 1,500. And what is this one up here? About 1,900 if it goes full bull mode. Now on the weekly, I know there's a lot of drawings, but if we just look at the price right now, we're just trying to hold. You can kind of see it if you know what I mean. We're just trying to hold this zone. So above 1,000 or 900, the bulls are saying, they're hoping probably, please don't drop below that. What could make us drop? If a mega whale sells, a corporation sells, or everybody fear panic sells, because if something goes wrong, it just can crash, right? These supports are temporary. It's not permanent. So it's either going to be a pivot point to the upside or not, right? The price is unlikely to go sideways. It's going to make a move at some point. It's just very quiet right now. So maybe 2 weeks, 4 weeks after, we might see the move whichever direction it's going to go in. Just watch out for that. The 4-hour is a little oversold. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate it on TradingView. It could drop down to 1100 before it actually gets really oversold, right? It's not out of the Bollinger Band range. It's not even riding it. It's just going sideways. So it's just oversold here on the RSI. Hopefully we could get some kind of momentum and direction going for futures trading and for spot trading as well. If this thing is going to go up, we need to see it. It needs to show first. I'm not going to try to predict that, right? I need to see it physically happen before my eyes on the chart. Okay, let's look at Binance Coin. Took a little bit of a hit because of this FTX and just the involvement with that. So sentiment is not the greatest right now, but if you were in crypto for a long time, this is how it kind of felt. Not exactly, but this is how it felt in 2018 to the beginning of 2019. I knew a lot of traders during that time who quit, or some people lost funds, or they chose tokens that went bankrupt, or it's just it's kind of like a repeat of history. It's kind of bizarre, like deja vu for me. But once the market stabilizes, so the FTX trial, for example, needs to finish, and then Binance has to, and all these crypto exchanges have to reassure their clients and investors that the funds are truly safe and transparent about, well, what are the funds held in, what division, what's the makeup, and they try to do that with the financial reserve information on coinmarketcap.com if you've ever checked that out. They're trying. But this was supposed to be an ascending triangle on the yellow triangle. It's not happening anymore. We lost that. Low, high, low. Where's our lower high? 275 is our resistance. And what's the measure and move here? Large measure and move of 50%. If that happens, take us back down to this lower X of 138 zone over time. Could take a couple months. But the opposite, just like Ethereum, if we could hold this higher low, just hold here, because this is a mini 618, it looks like, maybe a 76 right there. So in the mini Fibonacci, we went to our 76 to our 618 bounce. It's still in the process of forming. Bouncing maybe to 259, and then we might hold a higher low and then try to retest and get out of there. Bullish scenario, bearish scenario, bounce, pull back down to 221. If we lose that support, probably testing 200 over time. Because if it keeps dropping, some people are not going to hold through that because it's too bearish right now. What's happening? So we have to remember, it's not like just one trader kind of did this. It's like a corporation, right? So there's a lot of people, just a lot of negativity around the FTX ripple effect. Affected a lot of investors. So I would not be surprised if for another year people just quit crypto. I would not be surprised. So let's do a couple visual. Just go down the list. Let me change my list here. And the stream. If nobody has any requests, we'll just kind of look at visuals. Doge trying to hold its higher low above 7472. Cardano still in the downtrend. This is looking a little interesting setup though. Let's see, might not be its 50% retrace. Oh, it's way below that, 0.88. Okay. Way below that. So Cardano still in its downtrend. You could see it here. Now, if somebody's a very conservative investor, I would not touch this, for example, because it's going down. If I wanted to try to get a bull setup, the safest thing to do is make sure it's crossed up and going up. But that takes a very long time to actually happen. MATIC trying to hold above its 0.72 range. And I'm looking from a swing trader daily and weekly investor forecast. It's not quite daily oversold, right? So it's rallied, it's just holding. So everyone's like holding their breath, so to speak. That's the kind of feeling of, I can just imagine a lot of people thinking, are we going to drop down or not? It's kind of that question. Okay, great. I see the Moderna request. We'll do Moderna. So DOT dot, interesting. I might keep an eye on DOT. It's not the greatest crypto ever made. Like it's not going to save the entire industry, but it's large market cap and it's below that 0.88, almost getting to the original ICO price here listed on Binance. That's why there's that support here. We use the volume profile. A little bit more support at around the 370, 390 range. Maybe down to 350. If it even goes way down here to $2, could be interesting. Litecoin got a little bit of that pop up on the symmetrical triangle. So Litecoin attempted a rally, If you can hold here, this could be a very beautiful spot because Litecoin fell down all the way almost down to its pandemic level, almost. That's why it was getting really interesting. So somebody said, hey, that's cheap enough. And then they just jumped in and then they got their 20% and then put a stop loss and they probably closed out the profit by now. SHIB coin is SHIB. Again, my call last week was an educational example. It needs to bottom out first before you get these large, like 50% kind of moves. So if it's going to dump to the downside, it needs to dump hard, and then you'll get that 50% or 30% bullish reaction off of a super oversold level. Is it oversold now? Not really. It barely touched it on the daily, but the 4 hour, it can go way deeper. I'm talking about you kind of want something like this. Copy paste that here, right? One huge dump, and then there's that bottom, and we can try to cash out to the upside. If you just buy randomly, the chances are probably less than 50% that something's going to win in either direction. So Solana, trying to hold that higher low. I'm not going to do all these. There's like 200 on the list, but I'm doing some of the larger top 20-ish market cap coins here. Tron's still in the downtrend, and there's a liquidity zone here. Very interesting. We'll just hold this. In the yellow box here between the 0.046 to the 0.05 kind of range. It's not that super oversold, but that's what I'm saying about the SHIB example. Once things get really oversold for just that 1 5-minute, 15-minute time frame, and you're on the computer, if you're a trader, or you're trying to get liquidity levels down here, there's the setup. But once it bounces already on a daily, then it becomes larger chance it could just fold over. And then if anyone buys here, they would get stopped out. So that's why trying to chase something too hard, sometimes it doesn't work. So that's why I basically just don't chase anymore. If I miss something, I just learn from it and move on. Chasing stocks and crypto too hard can just be almost be like guaranteed losses because it's too late. Crypto's 24 hours. It's much faster than stocks. Uni. Our support here above 370, 330, 370, this $4 range. I'm still going to leave that there. There is this another pattern, almost like a just kind of sideways consolidation wedge, but is it really oversold? It is not. So not yet for me, unless I'm playing a support level play, if it just holds above here. Okay, we do a couple more. So again, these are just educational examples. If we lose that AVAX, okay, wait for the dump, wait for the dump. If it's gonna keep downtrending, because it is right now, it has been downtrending. So if we don't get the bounce, all right, where's the dump then? The crash, where is it? So I'm waiting for that to happen and then buy something down here on the turnaround. If someone's very patient, the only thing is somebody's trying to get a trade in and really try to find something. Okay, there might be a 4 hour bounce here stuck between these two levels. So maybe a consolidation play, possibly if this thing holds for that 5 to 10% during the holiday season, maybe. Or if that doesn't work, we can see sometimes the oversold is not the final bottom. That's what I'm saying. This is forming. Whatever this price pattern is going to be, you could tell. It's trying to form. Might get a 5-minute, 15-minute bounce, pull back. Then this is the bottom way over here. And then it might continue to bounce. That's just one educational example. So understanding price patterns and multiple time frames helps kind of decrease FOMO, in my opinion. Just the emotional part of trading. That's why you never hear me get extremely excited about anything, up or down. So once somebody has enough kind of like, I would say experience and practice, unless somebody's in some kind of ridiculous large size position, if you're in a normal size position, price action should not make somebody feel any type of too many emotions, right? Because if somebody's trading on emotion, it's not a strategy. That's not a strategy. I learned that from my mentors and from experience. So the just a quick side note, so I'm not just talking about charts, is if you're in TradingView, you have a free account and higher, is you can practice paper trading right here. You open the trading panel on the bottom and click connect for paper trading. Okay, and just turn it on. And then you could get your settings here, your commission settings, trading settings, reset the account if it's a different number. And then you could practice your crypto USD trading or your stock trading in the daytime when the stock market's open. And you could trade as many times you want, and you learn through experience as well. So you don't have to lose money to learn. You do not have to. Paper trading is a beautiful way to practice day trading, swing trading, investing, even some options types of plays, right? Longer term options just to see what's going to happen there. It's not there's no options here, but you still get the order, all this, take profit, stop loss, what type of order you're going to do. That's all the skill set for trading. A lot of what I show is charting, technical analysis charting. Trading versus charting is actually a different skill. I will do one more. I'm going to do this Moderna request here. So Link is still going sideways, and we can see here there's a very large consolidation pattern. However, if you look at the two yellow diagonal trend lines, if this thing dumps, bearish reaction, that 50-60% downside target is 275-ish down here, and that would confirm our downtrend. Low high, low, there's no lower high. Okay, dump, crash down to lower low. All right, if this holds, which has been holding for 6 months, hopefully it holds. Okay, we can go 25 to 50% back up. But this, when it's kind of in the middle here, personally, I'm not a huge fan of just floating in the middle trades. I want a direction. If it's going to crash, basically hurry up and crash, right? I'm talking about the price. Hurry up with the move, crash, finish whatever's negativity is happening, and then bottom out, and then we can get another upside bounce just off the algorithm technicals. Upside is true. The reverse is true. If it's going to bounce, well, let's get the momentum going. Go, 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 right? So, but the market doesn't move on my schedule. It moves on according to the algos, the whales, and then the general consensus of buyers and sellers. All right. Let's look at these requests here. Let me refresh the chat before we sign off after the requests. All right, let's do Moderna because that actually has some relationship with what's going on with COVID right now. So we have a request from Casey on TradingView for educational purposes only, MRNA. If you don't know what Moderna is, it's one of the COVID vaccine and booster shot or the jab vaccines available, at least here in the United States and worldwide. So this educational example, this person is asking for a short trade analysis. Okay, so somebody's going to short entry at 190.60. The stop loss of 199.39. With the price target of 181.09. Did I type that in correctly? Your entry is 190.60. Your stop is 199.39, and then your profit is 181.09. It's still, that's a 1-to-1 trade. So your profit has to be much larger down here according to the calculation, unless there's some number that was a little off. So let me take a quick look here on a different panel for a second. MRNA. Okay. So potentially a move of 12%. So about 10%, 8% average. So this particular 9% target, it's definitely possible. That's why it's kind of interesting on the daily. All right, it is starting to lose momentum. What about the weekly? Not quite super oversold, but then even the weekly, this large doji candle going sideways, starting to lose momentum a little bit on the weekly. On the 4-hour, just starting to roll over, and the entry was 190.60. However, you want to make sure, just in case this happens, because if you zoom into like a 2-minute or a 5-minute, 15-minute is oversold right here. So the trade still might work in the future because this 15-minute looks like a head and shoulders. It's right at the neckline though. So you might see like a little bit of a positive bounce first, or bulls trying to defend this area at 189, let's say tomorrow or for a couple days, before the bears say, no, we're going to go down because FOMC and interest rates and recession risk. So all I'm saying is maybe it might bounce up. So just hopefully nobody gets stopped out, and then it might short down later, because the algorithms, they know that if everyone's stacking their orders here, they'll try to stop hunt. They'll target people's stops. They'll kick everybody out and then buy that shares, and then they'll go down. So that's what the algorithms are designed to do. So just understand, if you're holding it for a long term, like a swing trader, that you're gonna have to kind of deal with that, the intermediate day trading volatility, because that 15-minute, it could dump tomorrow. The opposite is true. It could just open tomorrow and just boom, dump down. Then you win, right? In terms of that setup. So just hopefully watch out for that neckline, which is right there at 195.53. But I do like this in this particular setup is it's closer. I understand what you're trying to do. It's closer to the high point turnover. Because if somebody try to short starting from down here, it's like, that's kind of too low. You know what I mean? But I do like that it's up here. So hopefully this one will actually follow through down for you. And if we get this kind of August reaction, you can kind of see that copy paste action visually. You're going to kind of have to imagine that, right? You get a little bit of bounce. You might get stopped out, right? If I was trading this, I get stopped out. I was like, okay, wait for the turnaround then. And if it crashes down, initiate one more short with position size controlled, very, very controlled position sizes. All right, let's do one more and then we'll end. PLD, hello, welcome. Thank you for watching and following. If you want to follow on Twitch. PLD. Is this Prologis? Yeah, Prologis. So Prologis, okay. It's a stock here. Those who don't know, it's a real estate related stock. Okay, kind of a similar thing. But if you watch the beginning of the stream, you might want to rewind to that in the multiple scenarios I showed for S&P, Dow Jones, and NASDAQ. There are cases to be made for both directions. But what I'm saying is we want to make sure, if it's going to be a bearish reaction because the FOMC news and what's going on with COVID, etc., is if it's going to turn into a downtrend, just copy paste this visual into here, right? If we look very closely, what happens? We have a 3 black crows pullback and then a little bit of a bounce, right? So that's what I'm saying. Watch out for the bounce so you don't get stopped out on a super oversold bounce reaction. And then the big traders, some of the experienced, I just call them experienced traders in terms of big like bank traders, because what I've seen a lot in the market is they wait. They wait exactly for the setup and then they'll crush, right? And the algos, like somebody with a huge account at some of these bank firms, I noticed that. They wait for it, the little bounce here, they'll let people kind of like trick them into getting into longs to getting that, and then they'll crush. And then they'll get this, they might close their position, flip, and then they crush again, right? So if that happens, I can imagine you might get 1 or 2 days going down. And then you might get the bounce up. And if the short is real, the big money will say nope. And they're going to try to crush everybody here. And then try to get that as low as possible before they are forced out of their position down here in terms of kind of that distribution, right? So this is the first time, this just like Bitcoin, almost like 1 year ago type of scenario where it's in an uptrend in this rising wedge. The first time we fall out of the wedge, everyone's like, whoa, 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 wait a second. Something's happening here, right? So that's just the kind of price psychology. Now let me actually look at where your entry is. Short entry. And why I like what Casey's doing here on TradingView is he always has, and it's like this is what everybody needs, your entry, your stop loss, and your price target. And then position size too. Position size matters because nobody can go all in on one trade. That's not good risk management. Risk management is 1% risk of your total account size. So 1% risk per trade in the dollar value. Then there's no single trade that can wipe anybody out. Okay, so let me get the targets in here. And the way to practice this, if you're wondering, like, I don't know what's going on right now, is you just practice on paper trading first. Again, this is still a one-to-one trade though. So either shrink the stop loss, or if this is the stop loss you want, then you got to open up the bottom side a little bit more for the profit target, and you have to wait a little bit more. So again, if this bounces up on you multiple times, you might get stopped out, almost stopped out, or you might get stopped out. And then you might have to reinitiate the short here on that turnaround on that first gap down day. So if this goes low, it might look like, oh, it's going down into my target. Yes. But then if it bounces up and you get stopped out, it's like, oh no, what happened there? Right. So just understand that after 2-3 days of the shorting that already happened, you might get the oversold bounce, like I was saying earlier here. And then the pros might come in and say, boom, and then smush it down. So I want to catch down the second wave down. So again, risk management is very important, everybody. And for those who missed the beginning, the USA stock market is closed on 12/26 Monday for Christmas Day observed. And then after this, I'm only going to do one more live stream for the last part of this year. Let me bring up the calendar. So today's here, 18. Stock market's closed on this Monday. And then I'll probably stream again either on Tuesday the 27th or 28th, and that'll be the last stream of this year. There's only 2 weeks left of stock trading. So hopefully you learned something, or you were enlightened today. And thank you so much for watching on TradingView YouTube and Twitch. We also have a Discord group. I do want to say that if on social media, please beware of scammers and spammers. There's been an increase of fake accounts. I've been seeing a lot of the fake accounts trying to come back multiple times, and they might try to DM you or message you. So always ignore it, report it, and or delete those messages. So let's stay safe out there, and let's have a very happy and healthy holiday as much as we can. And I will see you next time. Thank you, and happy holidays. Bye-bye.